Alright, so this is going to be the short video for correction of errors. So here we have the types of errors, and first we have error of commission, which is about you entered the amount in the wrong account, and then error of omission, you forget to record something, and error of principal, you record something in the wrong class of the account, so the expense becomes an asset, for example. Then we have error of original entry, which is about wrong amount. So you record like 790 as 970. Error of compensating is there two errors offset the amount or offset the error. An error of complete reversal is debit becomes a credit. So instead of debit drawings, you credit the drawings. Okay. So let's look at the examples. First, we have error of commission. So this is about where the debit or credit entry is made in the wrong account. So here the tip is it has to be the same class of account. So if it's an asset, it has to be an asset. If it's an expense, it has to be an expense. For example, if you were supposed to have an entry for a trade receivable, the amount you enter in the wrong account also should have has to be a trade receivable or at least an asset. Okay, so let's say you were supposed to credit John, who is a debtor, but you credit John. So here, if you see, the spellings are wrong. Okay, so spelling, you were supposed to credit this person, but you credit this person. Okay, so it's like uh, this was supposed to be the correct entry. Okay, you debit, we receive the money and we credit John, this person, but eventually what we did mistakenly is this: we debit the bank, which is the correct account, but we credit John, which is a wrong person. Okay, so now we are supposed to correct this amount by making another entry. So this is credit. If we have a debit, it will cancel off this entry. Okay, if we have a debit, it will cancel off this entry, and then we can credit John. Now he no longer owe us. If you wanna look at the T format, then it will be something like this. So eventually we got the amount from here. Okay, but he did not pay us. So in order to offset this account, to make it zero on both sides, I have to debit this account and credit the right person. Okay, then we have error of omission, where the transaction is overlooked, so no debit or credit entry is made the account. So omission means you omit something, you record, you skip something. Okay, so for example, if you were supposed to record an entry for drawings, okay, like this, it should have been entry, but you don't record it, or let's say you forget to record it, so you don't record anything. So in order to correct it, you just have to make the original entry, which should have been in the first place. Okay, it's not complicated, this error is not complicated. Then we have error of principal, so where the debit or credit entry is made for the correct amount but in the wrong class of account. So wrong class of account means that here it was wrong account, if you see in error of commission. Okay, so the person has to be asset. For example, in this case, both were assets, right? Both were trade receivables. But in error of principle, the asset become an expense, or expense becomes an asset, or income becomes a liability, or liability becomes an income. Okay, something like that. So here the tip is same like error of commission, but different class. So class is referring to whether it's a liability, expense, capital, or income. Okay, so example is, let's say you were supposed to pay the motor vehicle for 25,000, but you classified it as motor vehicle expense. So if you see, the classification is different. This is an asset and this is an expense. So correct entry should have been you directly debit the motor vehicle and credit the bank. But what you did, or what we did, is we debit the motor vehicle expense. So this is an expense and this is an asset. This should have been in the first place, but this is what we did mistakenly. The bank entry is correct. So in order to correct this one, we will just credit the account, cancel off. So this is debit, we credit this account, now it's zeroized. Okay, and now we can debit the correct amount or correct account. Then we have error of original entry when a mistake is made while transferring from the source document to a subsidiary books or so the both debit entries and the credit entries are incorrect. So your debit is incorrect and credit is also incorrect. For example, if you misread 529 as 592 in the sales book, you have to correct it. Okay. So if this should have been the entry in the first place, but what we did is a 592. So we are overstating the amount here. We are overstating the amount here. Now, in order to reduce it, if we have to reduce it, we are going to debit the difference. We minus these two amounts. Okay, we take this amount and we minus this amount. We take the difference and then we are going to debit into sales, and this one is going to be credit. Now, if it was understating, if it was understated, okay, let's see if I have another example for this one. Maybe I can copy the whole thing, right? Okay, so let's say if this was 592 and we entered it as 529. So the correct should have been 592 and here 592. And what we did is 529 and 529. This is what we did. So now in this case, this becomes an example of understating the amount. Okay, we are understating the amount. So if we are understating, then we are going to debit sales, credit sales, sorry, and debit the debtor, or we can say it really simple. But I am using the term debtor, so I think we'll stick with the principle. Why? Because we have to be consistent. Then we have error, compensating error. When two or more errors of the same account cancel each account. For example, okay, we have the tip. Like the original entry, one amount is wrong in two accounts, which will cancel off the two facts. So, for example, if two amounts are wrong, for example, this is one error, and we had another error over here, like this one, and they cancel off the effect of each other. So one debit is wrong and one credit is wrong for two different transaction, but the amount is same, and it's canceling off the effect. For example, the entry made for the payment of wages in cash is 760, debit wages 670, and cash is 760. So if you see, the amount here is wrong. So 760 is supposed to be correct one. So this one is correct, but debit wages is wrong. Okay. So we are understating the wages account. Later we have to top up how much? I think 90 ringgit. The sales day book was incorrectly total. The total was 5390, but the account clerk entered as 5300. So there is a difference of 90 here also. So if you see, there is a difference 90 here and 90 here. They are offsetting the uh, effect. So what's happening is you can't identify the error. Okay, and this error is called compensating error. So this is what we should have done in the first place for this one. Okay, we debit wages, we are paying the wages, it's an expense debit, and we are paying, so we are giving out the cash, the cash is going out, so it's credit. And what we did eventually is the cash amount is correct, but our wages here is wrong. Okay, and in order to correct it, we have to debit wages 90 because it's understated by 90, and credit the sales. Why sales? Because there is another error for sales here where we understated the 90 in the sales journal. So while we are transferring the amount from sales journal to the ledger, we mistakenly oversee 90 ringgit. Okay, So now we are going to credit 90 ringgit in order to balance it. So when we, if you want to see it in the count format, this is what we transfer from journal, and now we are going to top up 90 in order to make it correct amount. Okay, and then we have complete reversal error. So this is simple. If you were supposed to debit an account and you are supposed to credit an account, you just have it the opposite way. So we always know that drawings is debit, but mistakenly we credit drawings and we debit cash. Okay. So in order to correct it, we have to debit drawings and credit cash. But in this, it's important that we times the amount by 2. Why we times it by 2? Because one, this should have been the entry in the first place. But what we did is this. So first we need to cancel the amount by 500, which is now becomes 0. And another 500 transaction to make it make the effect take in action. Okay. So this, there are going to be two transactions for this one, and you have to times by 2. Okay. So that's all for this video.